The hospital room was silent except for the machines. Slow beeping. Weaker with every interval. The kind of sound that doesn't announce an ending directly, it just gets quieter until you realize the quiet has become the point. Kang Sia sat beside her father's bed, both hands wrapped around his, holding on the way you hold on to something you already know is leaving. "Dad?" she whispered. Her voice cracked in the middle of the word. "Don't leave me." His lips trembled. He was trying to speak through something that had already taken most of his strength. She leaned closer, her ear nearly against his mouth, desperate to catch whatever he had left to give her. "Don't trust," he managed, "the golden boy." She froze. The words made no sense. Not in this moment, not with everything else happening, not with the machine slowing down beside them. She wanted to ask what he meant, who he meant, but his chest rose one more time and he forced out a second sentence with everything that remained in him. "Eden Academy," he breathed. "That's where the truth is buried." The monitor flatlined. A single endless tone. And just like that, her world ended. That was also the exact moment her revenge began. Though she didn't know it yet, sitting frozen in a chair that suddenly felt too small for the size of what had just happened. 5 years passed. The city moved on the way cities always move on, forgetting people efficiently, replacing grief with routine. But Sia hadn't moved on. She had simply changed shape around the loss, building a different version of herself on top of the one that had broken in that hospital room. New identity. No real friends because real friends asked real questions and her life couldn't survive real questions. No family left to anchor her anywhere. Just one purpose, sharpened over 5 years of silence into something with an edge. Find the person who killed her father. She had searched everywhere a person could search. Old case files, half-erased police reports, contacts that led to dead ends and dead ends that led to more dead ends. For 5 years, the trail had given her nothing solid enough to follow. Until the file appeared. A name surfacing from a source she'd cultivated for months, buried inside records that should have stayed sealed. Eden Academy. The most elite school in the country. The kind of place where the children of senators and CEOs and old money families spent their formative years learning that consequences were something that happened to other people. A place where secrets didn't get solved. They got buried. Permanently. Professionally. She closed the file and sat with it for a long moment, feeling something settle into place inside her chest after 5 years of searching for exactly this feeling. "I found you," she whispered. The gates of Eden Academy opened slowly when she arrived. Massive iron doors with a golden emblem catching the morning sunlight, the kind of architectural statement designed specifically to make ordinary people feel small before they'd even walked through. Students moved across the courtyard like they'd been born already knowing they belonged there. Tailored uniforms. Effortless posture. The specific kind of smile that only comes from a life where nothing has ever truly gone wrong. Sia walked through the gates without flinching. No fear in her expression. No hesitation in her stride. Just a cold, controlled determination that had taken 5 years to refine into something this precise. Whispers started before she'd taken 10 steps. "Who is that? She looks different. Did she come in on scholarship?" She didn't respond to any of it. She wasn't here to belong. She wasn't here to make friends or build a reputation or survive socially in a hierarchy designed to crush anyone without money behind them. She was here to find a killer. And then she saw him. Lee Hyun stood near the courtyard fountain, sunlight falling across him in a way that looked almost deliberate, like even the weather had decided to flatter him. Perfect posture. A calm expression that suggested nothing ever rattled him. Students orbited him the way planets orbit something with enough gravity to organize an entire system around itself. Teachers spoke his name with a warmth usually reserved for institutional pride. Everyone called him by the same nickname, spoken with equal parts admiration and something that bordered on worship. The Golden Boy. Sia stopped walking. Her father's voice surfaced from 5 years deep, the last warning he'd ever given her, delivered with the last breath he had. "Don't trust the Golden Boy." Her eyes narrowed, fixed on him across the courtyard. "Found you," she said quietly to no one. Fate arranged their first meeting carelessly, the way fate often does, a stack of books slipping from her arms in a crowded hallway, scattering across the floor. She bent down immediately, irritated at the interruption, and a hand reached the books before hers did. She looked up. Lee Hyun was crouched beside her, gathering her fallen books with the kind of casual efficiency that suggested he did small kindnesses without thinking about them. He looked at her and smiled, not performed, not calculated, just simple and warm. "Sorry," he said. "Are you new here?" His voice carried none of the coldness she had expected from someone her father had warned her about with his dying breath. It was warm. Human. Disarmingly ordinary. For half a second, something in her hesitated. Then she remembered why she was standing in this hallway at all. She took the books from his hands, stood, and walked away without answering. Behind her, Lee Hyun watched her go, his expression shifting into something quieter, more curious. Interesting, he murmured to himself. That night, in the small off-campus apartment she'd arranged before transferring, Sia opened her laptop and began the work she actually understood, hacking into Eden Academy's internal records. Student logs. Disciplinary files. Historical enrollment data. Everything that should have existed in clean, complete form. Instead, she found gaps. Names missing from rosters where attendance records confirmed they'd existed. Disciplinary reports that referenced incidents with no corresponding details. Entire stretches of institutional history that had simply been deleted, not lost, deleted, the specific and deliberate kind of erasure that takes effort and intention. And every single gap clustered around one period. Every trace of missing information led directly back to Eden Academy. She dug further, pulling threads from old case documentation she'd accumulated over 5 years. Names of witnesses who had been connected to her father's case, people who should have had testimony on record, people who should have existed in some traceable form. They were gone. Some had transferred to schools that had no record of them ever enrolling. Some had simply disappeared from every database she could access. Some were listed as deceased, with death certificates that raised more questions than they answered. None of it made sense individually. But every single one of them had attended, worked at, or been connected to Eden Academy. Someone was cleaning the past. Carefully. Methodically. With resources that suggested this wasn't the work of one person covering one mistake. This was infrastructure. A system built to erase inconvenient truths the way other systems were built to teach algebra. Days passed, and Sia kept Lee Hyun under careful observation, waiting for the cracks to show, the cruelty beneath the charm, the calculation beneath the warmth. It never came. He helped struggling students with homework after hours without being asked. He treated teachers with genuine respect rather than the performed deference she'd seen from other students currying favor. He spent most of his free time alone, reading, away from the crowd that constantly tried to pull him into their orbit. He didn't act like a killer. Her certainty, the thing that had carried her through 5 years of searching, began to develop hairline cracks she didn't want to acknowledge. One evening he found her sitting alone near the same fountain where she'd first seen him, and sat down without asking permission. "You always look like you're searching for something," he said. She didn't answer. He smiled slightly, looking out at the courtyard rather than at her. "If you're looking for the truth here, be careful." "Why?" she said. It wasn't really a question. It was a demand. His smile faded. He looked away from her, toward the school buildings glowing in the evening light. "Because truth here gets people erased." That night, she broke into Eden Academy's restricted archive. A locked room beneath the administration building that officially didn't exist on any public floor plan. Old documents. Sealed reports. Files with classification markings that no high school should have had any legitimate reason to use. And then she found it. A symbol, repeated across multiple documents, marking files that connected to something far larger than disciplinary records or grade manipulation. Not just a school. A system, a hidden network woven through generations of powerful families, designed for one specific purpose: protecting their children. No matter what those children had done. Murder. Cover-ups. Disappearances engineered with the same careful precision used to plan academic schedules. All of it erased, all of it controlled, all of it folded back into the institution's pristine public reputation as if none of it had ever happened. Her hands trembled as she scrolled through file after file. Her father hadn't just uncovered a murder. He had uncovered this. The entire architecture of it. And that, not a single crime but the system protecting countless crimes, was exactly why he had been silenced. Then another file loaded. Lee Hyun. Status, target. Sia froze completely, staring at the screen. This wasn't only about her father anymore. Lee Hyun, the boy everyone called Golden, the boy her father had warned her about with his final breath, was himself marked for elimination by the same system she was investigating. Someone inside Eden Academy's hidden network wanted him erased. Because he knew too much. That night, he confronted her directly, finding her in the same hallway where they'd first met. "You've been investigating me," he said. Not an accusation. A statement of fact he'd clearly already confirmed. She didn't deny it. There was no point. "I know about the system," she said instead. Something shifted in his expression, surprise giving way to something closer to relief. "So you found it too?" A long silence stretched between them, neither willing to be the first to fully commit to trust. Then he said quietly, "For what it's worth, I didn't kill your father." She stared at him, searching his face for the lie she'd been certain existed. For 5 years she had built her entire identity around the certainty that the golden boy was the answer to her father's final warning. And standing in front of him now, she realized for the first time since that hospital room, that she didn't know what to believe anymore. After that night, everything at Eden Academy changed. Students who had seemed permanent fixtures of the school suddenly stopped appearing in classes. Teachers grew visibly nervous, their usual confidence replaced with the careful caution of people who sense danger but can't name its source. Security around the campus tightened in ways that felt less like protection and more like containment. The school that had once felt impossibly perfect now felt like something closing in. And somewhere inside it, someone was watching both of them. Waiting. Calculating the right moment to act. Together, Sia and Lee Hyun pieced apart the rest of it. Months of careful investigation compressed into weeks of urgent, dangerous work, each new document peeling back another layer of an institution built entirely on protecting power at any cost. At the center of everything was one man. The Academy chairman. A figure respected across the entire country. A man who sat on boards and shook hands with politicians and had spent decades cultivating an image so polished that nobody had thought to look beneath it. He was the architect of the entire hidden system. The network that protected generations of powerful families from consequences, the system her father had discovered and tried to expose. And the man who had ordered her father's death. Because her father had found the truth. And had tried to bring it into the light. The night it all collapsed, police surrounded Eden Academy from every entrance. Files that Sia and Hyun had spent weeks gathering were released simultaneously to journalists, investigators and federal authorities. Too many copies in too many hands for anyone to erase this time. The system that had protected itself for decades came apart in a single night, the way structures collapse when every supporting piece is removed at once.